Asking, will a narcissist ever get their karma? Is a question of every survivor who has been violated by the narcissist. But the answer to this question isn't binary. It isn't yes or no. It's rather deep and complicated. Why? Let's understand in this episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we'll be talking about narcissists and their karma. Do they get it? If yes, how? If that sounds interesting and you want to learn more, make sure to subscribe by pressing the subscribe button and push the bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Let's get started with a basic understanding. If I say yes, narcissists get their karma, I would be lying to you because most of them get away with the harm they cause and hoard a lot of resources like money to secure an unlimited supply for the future to come. But at the same time, if I were to say no, they don't get their karma, I wouldn't be right either. Why? Because all of them hit old age, and old age, you know, comes with weakness and vulnerability, therefore least control over the people and the environment they are a part of. So for us to get an accurate answer to the question, we have to change the question at the first place. Instead of asking, will a narcissist get their karma, we have to ask, are the narcissists getting their karma now? Because in my opinion, their life is their karma. How and why? Let me help you understand that in a minute. The first reason why I think their life is their karma, because they live in a fantasy world. Their life is based on falsehood. Look at this. As a child, they created this false self just to suppress their true self. Their true self is filled with shame, embarrassment, guilt, and all of those negative and heavy emotions that they never wanted to deal with. They chose this shortcut. They learned to be manipulative. They knew that this path of manipulation, lies, deceit, falsehood works for them, so they would opt that, and that is what they would do for the rest of their life, and that is what they are doing right now. But at the same time, it happened at an expense. They disconnected from their true self. They got stuck in the process of their development. They became inauthentic, which means a lot of incongruence, inauthenticity, lack of integrity. They do not know who they truly are. They do not know what they stand for. They live through you. They live through the attention they get from other people, which means they do not know exactly what they like or dislike. They just keep copying other people. They just keep mirroring other people just to exist. But at the same time, they prefer to think that it's all theirs. Everything that is wrong in the situation is with other people or other things, and this false self that they have created out of their trauma or whatever you may want to call it, it is flawless, it's omnipotent, it's perfect. There is nothing to blame it for. It's like a cat who desperately wants to be seen as a dog and berates every single person who calls out the cat for being a cat. Now think about this again for a moment. If someone lives a life of disconnection, inauthenticity, if someone lives a life that is so hollow and empty, if someone lives a life that is devoid of truth, if someone is so unaware, how would they be happy at the first place? Because for you to experience happiness, you have to be whole in yourself, and a narcissist is far, far, far from being whole. The truth is that they are a shadow of who they actually were, and this shadow is what operates in the world now. There's no one within this shadow. There is no one underneath it. It's quite hollow, it's dead, it's empty. They have no true emotions to experience. They just experience emotions quite sporadically, and that too the negative and the heavy ones. How is that living? In my opinion, it is not. I would say it is a curse, and that is why their own way of being and functioning is their karma, in my opinion. The second reason why I think their life is their karma, or they are living their karma, is because they never get to experience true love, compassion, care, genuine understanding of the other person. They never get to step outside of themselves. They just are entirely focused on their needs that come out of their ego, and that is what they always try to fulfill. It's all about survival. It's never about thriving. It's never about being. It's never about being present with themselves and those who are a part of their environment. They're always scavenging. They're always looking for the next prey. They're always hunting. They're always on their toes, wanting to get that next drip of supply, next supply of attention, admiration, acceptance, adulation, validation, whatever it is. They're like a puppet who are driven by other people's focus on them, but they definitely want to believe otherwise. They want to believe the opposite reality of it, which you and I know is not true. It's based out of their falsehood and delusion. So they never get to experience love. And if you do not experience love, how can you ever live your life to the fullest extent possible? Love is one of the highest and the biggest emotions with the highest frequency possible. It vibrates at the highest frequency. And if you do not know what love is to experience or to give, you do not know what it means to live. Therefore, to me, a narcissist is living a fake life, an incomplete life, where they do not know what it means to connect with other people, what it means to truly be empathetic, to truly be genuine, to truly be kind. They have been deprived of all of these gifts, and they live a life of complete seclusion and isolation, which is a punishment. It's like being a prisoner in your own mind and body, and no one can enter and you cannot leave. That is the kind of situation a narcissist is in. Their karma is that they will never actually get to be the character that they so desperately want to be. They want to be this, but they can never be it because they don't have what it needs to be that. They just keep getting jealous of people who are that, but they themselves can't be, which is very sad in itself. The third reason why I think a narcissist is living their karma is because they are living under this false delusion that they will be as strong, as capable, as omnipotent as they are right now forever. But that is not the truth. The bitter truth of life is that with time, you lose the strength physically, mentally, and in other ways, and you become weaker and you come closer to the point of fading away. But when the narcissist moves through time and becomes older, they are shocked by the reality. I remember my grandfather telling me as he was getting old, I used to be strong. Everyone used to get terrified by my voice. I don't understand what hit me. I don't understand how I can be this weak. It is shocking to them. It is paralyzing to them because they can't comprehend and accept that they can get weaker, because getting weaker would mean becoming vulnerable and then at the same time being controlled by others. So their old age is a form of their karma, because as they get old, they lose their charm. They lose the excess to the ways they use to hook people in and then take advantage of them. They become bitter, of course. The bitterness, the rottenness, the sadness, the unprocessed rage comes more to the surface, and you just need to kind of nudge a little bit, and there you have a raging narcissist, completely uncontrolled, quite primal and animalistic, stuck in his or her ego. That is their karma. Because if you're so unhinged, erratic, and uncontrolled in an age when you should be at peace, what life have you lived? You are now meeting with what you have done in the past. This is the time for payback. Of course, by the time they get old, they have caused a lot of destruction, but it all comes back to them when the age factor hits them, when they lose the strength, when they lose the mental capability, the capability to manipulate others. They become more bitter, they become more aggressive, and ultimately fade away when everyone, almost everyone, even their golden children, leave them. Fourth reason, and the last one. Look at it. You try to offer everything that you could potentially offer to the relationship, to them. You gave them multiple chances. You became a doormat for them. You did what they wanted you to do. You did every single thing to please them. You wanted them to feel better. You tried to heal them. You were exceptionally empathetic, kind, and compassionate towards them. You were considerate. You offered them your life force. You put your years into the relationship, into them, hoping that one day this person will wake up to their truth and might recognize the potential in the relationship and might be happy with you. What else can some other person offer that you haven't offered actually to the narcissist? But it is a shame that a narcissist had no capacity to receive any of it. They thought you were an object and it was their right to use you, and they used you. They thought it was your weakness to tolerate their abuse and to give them empathy. But they don't know that it was a loss, that they lost a gem. They didn't know that being loved, being held, being cared for is one of the biggest gifts that you can ever receive from someone. And like a moron, they lost it all. They never woke up to the truth. They just lost it. You left them, and you're here now listening to this episode, listening to my voice, recognizing that it was not your fault. If there is anyone who was at loss, who is at loss, it is a narcissist, because they lost the best thing that they could have ever gotten in their life, ever experienced in their life. And that is what their karma is. In a nutshell, a narcissist's life is dull, bland, boring, attention-driven, quite surface-based, and very disconnected emotionally, psychologically, and in other ways imaginable. And that kind of life is a miserable one to live. Their life is their karma, and that is what they are left with. I hope in this episode I was able to help you find some relief in your suffering and you found it helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments, drop a like, and make sure to share this episode with your friends and subscribe. I'll talk with you in the next one. Till then, let the healing begin.